Hi there, it's Johnny Miller from Point Blank Online Music School, back once more to show you some cool little tricks with Ableton Live 8 and sounds and samples from clickproduce.com. Today I'm looking at a really nice little pack of samples that doesn't take itself too seriously but is real good fun, called Booty Breaks 2 by Loopmasters. And if you're into the whole ghetto tech sound, or if you want to make kind of crunk hip hop and crunk dubstep or crunk house, crunk anything, Booty Breaks 2 is well worth looking at. You've got a couple of really nice libraries here. You've got the whole thing in Rex file format, again, typical Loopmasters. You've also got the sampler patches for all the different software packages out there. But some really nice WAV loops, all different types, bass drums, music. And I've taken a couple of these different loops and I've put this little sketch together here, which I'm going to show you in a moment. Plus a little bonus folder of interesting things like vocals. And again, this is ideal if you're into that kind of US flavor. Doesn't take itself too seriously, but you know, in terms of making that kind of crunk sound, these are ideal samples to work from. And you can take little snippets of those vocals and loop them and do really interesting things with them if you want to make a more kind of like heavy, low-slung dubstep sound, for instance, or something a little bit more kind of raw and street in terms of house music. So lots to be working with. Right, I've put together a little sketch here, just using some of the samples, a couple of loops, a rhythmic synth, and a bass loop, and some drums. And I've made these this little impulse kit here out of the drum sounds that are in the Booty Breaks 2. And it's a really nice kit, quite simple programming, and just really nice kicks and snares. Again, they're quite sort of kind of fat sounding and street sounding, ideal really for this kind of music. I've gone for a kind of breaks feel at 138 BPM, and I found this quite nice rhythmic synth here that just adds a little bit more rhythm, a little bit more kind of skip to the track. Now I found another little sample that I quite like, this bass riff here, and they work quite nicely together. But I'm going to show you a little trick that I use quite a lot in my tracks to get the rhythmic properties of these two loops, even though they're quite different, get the rhythmic properties to work together by way of using the gate device and Ableton's infamous sidechaining function. We're looking at the bass track now, and I put a chorus device on here just to give this bass a little bit of width and colour. And so I'm now going to go to the live devices and load in the gate device onto the track and open up the sidechain option. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to use the gate device to turn this audio from the bass clip on and off. And instead of the rhythm from the clip playing, I'm going to make sure that the bass plays this rhythm here. And if I set up the sidechain here, I'm going to switch it on the gate, take the audio from track number 2, that's my rhythmic synth. Now I'm just going to bring the threshold right up and switch the 2 on. Now at the moment we can't hear the bass riff because the threshold is too high on the gate device. If I bring the threshold down, what will happen is whenever the signal comes in via the sidechain, as soon as the threshold drops below that signal, we'll start to hear the signal from the bass. But you can see that it's rhythmically moving with the pattern from the rhythmic synth. I'm going to bring that down now. And you can start to hear what's happening. We can start to hear the bass playing, but it's playing the same rhythm as the rhythmic synth. Let me open up the hold a little bit. This determines how long the gate stays open for before it starts to close. So now I've got the bass riff. It's playing the same line, but the only bits that we're hearing are in perfect sync with the rhythmic synth coming from track 2. Now we've got the wet dry control on the gate. If I bring that to 100% dry, that's just the bass synth in its original state. But as soon as I bring in the wet signal via the sidechain from audio 2, we get the same rhythm as the rhythmic synth. And that's a nice little way to get two loops that are rhythmically different to work together. Now at any time, if I want to revert back to the bass's original pattern, all I need to do is on the gate device just change the wet dry value from 100% wet to 100% dry. So maybe at the end of a section of them playing together, I can bring in the bass synth and let it do its thing before going back to the rhythmically linked sidechain effect. Okay, you can learn loads more cool stuff like this at pointblankonline.net. And I'll be back again next week to show you some cool tricks with Ableton Live 8 and sounds and samples from clickproduce.com. Peace.